Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Following this breaking story, a school bus crash in Raleigh. The breaking news tracker is on the scene with an update of what we've learned so far.
And a tree on a home. Our team has confirmed the damage left behind this morning in Orange County. We'll explain what we know.
And we take a look at our next two weather makers. The potential for scattered storms the next several afternoons, and one of those could produce some severe storms. Also, the heat. Our heat index will climb into the triple digits also.
Your air conditioners will be getting a workout this
yes,
week.
They will.
Certainly, as we've seen 90-degree temperatures in the forecast.
I know.
Thanks for joining us here on WRAL News. I'm Chris Lovington.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Well, we are glad you were here with us this morning. On your Tuesday, we're going to tell you about this heat that is here. More of it to come. Meteorologist Elizabeth Garner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with, we saw that rain come through this morning.
We did overnight last night, early this morning. You could see that coming right through the area. Notice that it's all over now. We've had that front lift to our north, and we're going to sit under this very soupy, muggy air mass, and we will end up with a chance of a few evening thunderstorms again, but one or two. We're not talking about anything widespread for today. Here's a look at RDU right now. Lots of cloud cover. We're beginning to see just a few holes in those clouds. As we get closer to lunchtime, we'll see more and more sunshine. Currently 77 at RDU with a dew point of 72, so it's very muggy, it's very warm, and our high temperature this afternoon climbs all the way up into the low 90s. It will likely feel like 100 to 102 this afternoon, so that heat index really climbs with lots of moisture in the atmosphere, but it jumps to major in terms of our heat risk for Wednesday, Thursday, and again on Saturday. That will really continue into the weekend and early next week. I'll show you how close we'll be to a 100-degree temperature day. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Boy, congestion is really building on the Beltline, the northern and the southern loop of the Beltline, starting around Lake Wheeler Road. And once you come up those I-87 southbound lanes, you get onto that northern loop of the Beltline. You'll see what I'm talking about as we take a spin around the Beltline, courtesy of a live cam network. This is these are the westbound lanes moving away from us this morning, just bumper to bumper traffic. Similarly, the northern loop of the Beltline traffic is moving at a very slow, steady, albeit steady clip. But in terms of major routes coming into the capital city, here's what we're looking at. You're looking at a 10-minute delay. That crash on Capitol Boulevard southbound is in the clearing phase. We'll get to Ali Cadlebar in just a little bit. But if you're coming in from Wake Forest this morning and you're using Capitol Boulevard US 1, you're looking at a 10-minute delay, a 7-minute delay if you're coming in out of Knightdale this morning. Over in Durham, most of the major routes are delay-free at this hour, but I do want to isolate I-885. That tends to be a really busy area. Now, if you're using I-885 to get to I-40 this morning, you're looking at a 10-minute delay. If you're heading into Durham this morning, you're just looking at a 5-minute delay. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, Ken, thank you. We have been following a breaking story in Raleigh this morning. Traffic was cleared in the last 30 minutes after a car and a school bus collided. WRAL's Ali Cadlebar is in the breaking news tracker at the intersection of Capitol Boulevard and Mayflower Drive for us this morning. Ali, what do we know right now? We see traffic behind you is moving.
Yes, and just in the past 30 minutes, like you mentioned, that accident has cleared. It was blocking this whole street right here, Mayflower Drive. It's a dead-end street, but it was blocking it significantly. And then it was also blocking 3 lanes on Capitol Boulevard. And you can see there is congestion, but it's not caused from this accident at all. It has cleared up. Now, I did speak with a Wake County school employee who says that it did cause significant damage to the bus because the car actually collided with the bus's battery. So unsure about how long that will take to process and everything. But we do know that there were no kids on board as well as no injuries reported. Reporting in Raleigh, Ali Cadlebar, WRAL News.
While Ali was on that scene, the WRAL Storm Tracker is on the road this morning, giving you a look at road conditions that were out there. Kelsey Coffey has been in the Storm Tracker this morning, and we've been talking a little bit about the damage we've seen left behind from the storms we had earlier there, Kelsey.
Yes, Chris, and right now we are on 40 East near the Wake Durham line. So we'll give you a look now at road conditions. Really nothing to talk about at this point as far as your morning commute. We're reaching the height of the morning commute, so there's definitely a lot more drivers out there on the roadways. But we'll take you to some video now from earlier this morning. This is on Mary Catherine Lane in Chapel Hill, where you can see that a tree fell on a mobile home. No one was inside at the time, but we were able to catch up with the homeowner, Lupita Hernandez, a little bit later on in the morning. She says this was her childhood home, so this happening has just been really devastating for her.
Definitely a little sentimental, but I'm just glad like no one was in there, so nobody got hurt. Like at the end of the day, like it's just materialistic stuff, so it's like whatever. Like I was more worried about like my sibling being home or something.
So everyone who lives in that home is safe this morning. We'll be sure to keep you updated on road conditions, but really there shouldn't be too much for you to worry about this morning. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Wake County.
And Jeff Hogan at the WRAL Live Center. Two 17-year-olds were shot in a late-night shooting in Durham. I want to take you right to the scene here. We have video of it from the WRAL breaking news tracker here. Because just before midnight, Durham police responded to that shooting right near Fayetteville Street in Durham. You see the gun on the ground there as part of the evidence of that scene. A 17-year-old boy was shot in the leg and taken to the hospital. He is expected to recover. 20 minutes later, then, a 17-year-old girl showed up at the hospital in a private car. She appeared to be grazed by a bullet. Police are working to figure out who shot them. We will pass along that information as soon as we get it. And we now have the full story posted for you on WRAL.com.
All right, Jeff, thank you. Duke Energy crews have restored power to thousands in Raleigh after an overnight power outage. Yeah, look at this here. You can see and hear the pops from the transformer as crews work to fix that outage. More than 2,000 homes in the area of Durley Road lost power about 1:30 this morning. Crews were able to get that power restored after about 4 hours. Also this morning, we are working to learn the name of a person who died in a crash in Durham County. The crash happened on NC 98 near Boyce Mill Road just before 6:30 last night. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there while the road was shut down for the investigation. State Highway Patrol says a pickup crossed the center line and hit two other vehicles. The driver of the pickup truck died.
State lawmakers are preparing to discuss a bill that prohibits buying or possessing any hemp-derived consumable products, specifically for anyone under the age of 21. House Bill 328 also bans hemp-derived products from school grounds. Businesses would have to be licensed to sell the products, and the bill would also require changes to packaging. That would include having certain information on labels and no characters designed to appeal to children. In a previous WRAL poll, North Carolina voters said they wanted state lawmakers to legalize medical marijuana. The Health Care Committee meets at 8:30 this morning. That's in 23 minutes, and they're going to hear and vote on that bill.
Israel and Iran are trading strikes on a fifth day of conflict. In recent days, more than 220 people have been killed in Iran, while 24 people have been killed in Israel, with hundreds more injured. An Iranian government TV employee was killed in a recent strike as well. President Donald Trump left the G summit in Calgary, Canada yesterday, one day early, and directed his National Security Council be ready in the Situation Room when he returned to the White House. On Truth Social, the president urged Tehran's estimated 10 million residents to, quote, immediately evacuate, but did not provide any details as to why.
The man suspected of assassinating Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, a Raleigh native, is in jail this morning. Vance Belter recently made his first court appearance. He's also accused of shooting another lawmaker and his wife. Belter will stay in custody until his next court hearing. That's on June 27th. And he's facing federal charges, also state charges. He's facing murder and attempted murder charges at that level.
Covering Durham, property taxes will be going up in the city's newly approved budget for 2025-26. The $772 million proposal includes a nearly 5.5-cent property tax rate increase. It also includes a pay raise for city employees, and it increases the staff of the city's HEART program. HEART is a community safety program that sends unarmed crisis responders to certain emergency calls. The new budget would create 17 new positions.
Today, Raleigh City Council will consider an affordable housing proposal. The nonprofit CASA is asking the city for permission to lease out city-owned property for an 11-unit affordable housing development. It's located on Summit Avenue. And the City Council's regular session gets started at 1 o'clock today. Also happening today, people who live in Roseville publicly will provide feedback on plans for Wake Med Health to build an emergency department. Right now, the closest Wake Med emergency facility is on Falls of Noose Road. That's about a 20-minute drive, give or take. Today's meeting is at 10 a.m. and it will be at the Edgerton building on the NCDHHS Dorothea Dix campus.
And covering Franklin County, NCDOT officials expecting significant traffic impacts as crews are set to begin bridge repairs today over the Tar River. The northbound lanes of US 1 near Sunrock Road will close today and tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Northbound traffic will be redirected to one of the southbound lanes. That means only one lane will be open in each direction. And the Raleigh Convention Center is hosting another round of graduation ceremonies today. Today, graduates from Rollsville High, Fuquay-Varina High, East Wake High, and Willow Spring High will gather for ceremonies. The final Wake Schools graduations of the year will be tomorrow. For the full schedule with times and locations, head to WRAL.com. Well, we're coming up on 8/11 this morning. Rabid animal attack. A Raleigh woman recovering after being attacked by a fox. How she's doing and what officials are warning people about when it comes to these wild animals.
And park it right there. A popular Wake County park is renewing its lease despite part of it closing. We'll explain what's sticking around.
And rain and thunderstorms overnight are now making way for a little sunshine. That sunshine means heat and humidity. I'll show you how hot it will feel this afternoon coming up. 8:14, we had overnight thunderstorms, lots of lightning. Those were loud. I know they woke a lot of people up, but all is quiet now. We've had our front move to the north. High pressure is building in, which keeps us a bit drier, but also on the hotter side. We do still have a small chance for thunderstorms this afternoon, 30 to 40%, right around the time of the evening commute. That means only a few folks will end up seeing those storms, and I wouldn't expect them to produce any damaging wind. 73 in Wilson, 77 Durham and Fayetteville. It is warm, it's muggy, so much moisture in the atmosphere that we still have a pretty good deck of low clouds hanging around. That should dissipate as we get closer to lunchtime. Try to plan your workout outside. I mean, I'm an outside workout person for sure. It gets really tough as we don't get off work until the afternoon, and the afternoon is a no-go. It's going to feel like 100 to 102 this afternoon. Even midday and evening, still going to feel very hot. Really, this time of year, the morning's the way to go. Or head to the pool. The pool is going to be fine with a few exceptions. A few isolated storms this evening and then some late storms on Thursday. Otherwise, things are looking pretty good. We've had a lot of thunderstorms lately. Coming up and Ask the Meteorologist, Chris Michaels is going to talk about how they're or what they have in common with popcorn, which, Ken, is one of my favorite snacks.
You and me both. Listen, so we've got a situation on Pool Road, near New Hope Road. There's an intersection of Pool Road and New Hope Road. There's a crash right there causing quite a bit of delays right there on New Hope Road. So if that's part of your commute, Pool Road, just keep in mind you're going to run into some delays there. As far as the Beltline, we're seeing congestion building on the southern loop of the Beltline, as well as the northern loop of the Beltline coming off those I-87 lanes. Here's what it looks like. Courtesy of our Live Cam network. Those are the westbound lanes moving away from us at this hour.
A Raleigh woman is recovering from an encounter with a rabid fox during her morning walk. And we do want to warn you, the video we're about to show you may be disturbing. Now, in truth, doorbell footage doesn't show a whole lot, but you can hear the moment of the attack. Police were called to Marathon Lane in Northeast Raleigh Saturday morning because of reports of a fox attack. An animal control officer captured the animal and it tested positive for rabies. The woman's son-in-law spoke with WRAL about what happened.
She was holding the head of the fox with one hand, and the other hand just tried to keep it from scratching her or biting her any further.
NC State's College of Veterinarian Medicine says if a wild animal bites you, well, you should seek care within 24 hours of infection. Wake County leaders there also say that they provided a list of recommendations to minimize the risk of rabies. For example, avoiding animals you don't know, making sure your pets are up to date on rabies vaccines, do not leave out food for unknown animals, and secure your outdoor trash with a tight-fitting lid, and that can there. A full list of recommendations can be found on this story at WRAL.com.
Durham police say it'll announce a new division to its department today. The department says this new division will be aimed at cutting down on response times to traffic crashes and also help ease the workload of patrol units. The news conference is scheduled for noon at Durham Police Headquarters.
One of Wake County's most popular parks will be around for at least 20 more years. Commissioners approved a new lease for Lake Crabtree County Park yesterday. It covers nearly 70 acres of trails and playgrounds and waterfront off I-40 near Morrisville, if you're familiar. Not included, though, are more than 140 acres, which included the park's mountain biking trails. The airport authority owns the land and it's planning to develop it. The people against the development say the new lease, it's a big loss.
A lot of the use was because there were so many things to do there. And now you're cutting out a whole lot. So, time will tell whether it's going to be the most used park, and now it may just be a drain on Wake County dollars.
And so here's the deal. According to the agreement, Wake County will pay more than $200,000 a year for the park. They're looking for other areas nearby to replace the trails, and those close this month.
Summer storms and popcorn have a lot in common. That's really random, right? Meteorologist Chris Michaels butters up the idea and shows us what's popping in today's Ask the Meteorologist, Chris.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, listen, if you're eating a snack, you're probably not thinking of what the individual things are made of, but a popcorn kernel inside of it has a little droplet of water that when you heat it up, it expands and it puts enough pressure on the shell to where it pops into the popcorn that you see. Sounds pretty similar to how thunderstorms form, right? If you take some pieces or parcels of warm air that we have in these orange droplets and you lift them up, you heat them up in the heat of the day, well, then the clouds start to form and the shell pops, and eventually you get your thunderstorm to develop. So the same methods of popping a popcorn kernel, that's exactly how thunderstorms form, but it's also what makes it very tough to forecast where exactly these storms are going to pop. If you think about it of a bag of popcorn, you can't predict accurately which kernel is going to pop and which one won't. That's especially in the summertime when storms are often randomly located, unless there's a front or a boundary nearby to where you can say, hey, this town's going to see one and this town won't. It just makes it kind of challenging. And I thought that was an interesting or kind of a different way to put that in perspective for you guys. Most oftentimes, 20 to 50% of the area sees those storms, much like on a day like today. We'll have that in Futurecast with Elizabeth coming up.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, today, parents and teachers will be at the North Carolina General Assembly to show their opposition to several pieces of legislation. The group Red, Wine, and Blue will host what it calls a read-in speak out event. Attendees will speak out against legislation addressing book bans, diversity, equity, and inclusion bans, and voter ID. The demonstration is expected to last from 9 a.m. until noon.
Today, Durham's mayor will be at a groundbreaking ceremony for a new development in the University Hill neighborhood. Construction is set to begin on the novel U Hill complex on Auto Drive. Now, the new community is expected to have a total of 400 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. First homes are set to be available by the end of next year. The groundbreaking ceremony is scheduled for 4 p.m. And we do have Elizabeth Gardner tracking not 1 but 2 weather makers on the way for us here in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
We do. We have Thursday, a front coming through that could bring us some severe storms. And of course, the heat is definitely a big issue. We've been following some thunderstorms from overnight, mostly done. A couple of just sprinkles there around Stantonsburg, but that's all heading right out of the viewing area. So moving into a bit of a drier period, still a small chance for thunderstorms today and tomorrow, and then that chance goes up a bit more for Thursday. 7-day rainfall totals look like this, as much as around 3 inches for Fayetteville and Clinton. The heaviest rainfall that we've seen in the last few days has really been over around Wilson and Edgecombe counties, where we've seen as much as 4 to 6 or 7 inches in some places. Around the Triangle, it's been maybe a half an inch to an inch, and then maybe 1 to 2 inches across parts of our northern counties. So it's been a pretty good soaker for almost everybody. As Chris was talking about, how the cells pop up just randomly. When we take a look at the rainfall totals, we see that, some folks have seen a half an inch, others have seen, 5 inches. And so that tends to happen as we get through this time of year. As we get through the afternoon, expect more and more sunshine, and then we'll have that heat popping up a few isolated cells this afternoon. Starting around the time of the evening commute, you can see 1 or 2 of those, but very little coverage really for us today. Now, Thursday's a different story. That's when we have a front, and those fronts can make it a little bit easier to forecast because we have a timeline for when that front may move through. It looks like evening thunderstorms for us on Thursday, wind damage and heavy rain. It is a WRAL weather alert day for Thursday because we do have a level 2 risk. That means several of the storms that pop up could produce some wind damage again, likely to be late afternoon or evening, some localized damage, some flooding possible, lots of heavy rain lately. We'll continue to have a very moist air mass. Look at that sunshine breaking out right here in our backyard, as well as Apex looking a little brighter. That just means more heat. We're looking at major heat risk Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and beyond. Our heat index today is 102. It's 104 for Wednesday and Thursday. And that just goes up as we get through the weekend. 97 Sunday, 99 on Monday. We'll talk more about our chances for a 100-degree day coming up, Ken.
Oh, boy. Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we have a handful of incidents starting our traffic map this morning, but I want to bring you attention to a couple of them. This one at the intersection of New Hope Road and Pool Road causing quite a bit of a delay on Pool Road. So keep that in mind if you're about to head out and Pool Road is part of your morning commute. Another local route might be in order. A couple of crashes on I-540 this morning. One in the eastbound lane near Falls of News, one in the westbound lane near Capitol Boulevard, Triangle Town Boulevard, if you will. You're looking at a 17-minute delay if you get on I-540 at this hour. So keep that in mind as you're about to head out.
All right, Ken, thank you. Still ahead in this upcoming hour, improving child welfare. A new report highlighting the problems within Person County and what officials are already doing to fix it.
And preventing foodborne illness. Five on your side will share how you can take charge of food safety in your home.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner following a lot in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, from rain showers to heat. Elizabeth.
Yeah, it's just that summer-like pattern. We did have some overnight thunderstorms, made a lot of noise, dumped a lot of rain. Those are over for now, and we're going to start to see the sunshine appearing. That's going to add energy to the atmosphere and help to pop up just a couple of isolated storms late today, mainly during the evening commute. But we're not going to see a lot of coverage. We take a live look at the studio camera tower right behind us. Look at all that blue sky breaking out. And that just means it's just going to get hotter. And of course, we're looking at our temperatures right now in the low to mid 70s. And this afternoon, we climb into the low 90s. So, walking the dog may be fairly quick because it'll feel more like 102 this afternoon. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, let's take a spin around the Beltline, starting at the southern loop of the Beltline. Look at this, bumper traffic on that southern loop of the Beltline. Bumper traffic also on that northern loop of the Beltline as well. This is a live look at I-440 and New Bern Avenue. So keep that in mind. If the Beltline is part of your morning commute, you're looking at a 5 to 8 minute delay, so to speak. Coming into the capital city, things are getting a lot better. Just a 4-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest this morning. Just a 6-minute delay if you're coming in from Nightdale. Very little to no delays heading into Bull City. Check out I-885 coming up at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
You. Police were on the scene of a school bus crash in Raleigh this morning. Our WRAL breaking news tracker was also there as crews cleaned up. It happened at the intersection of Capitol Boulevard and Mayflower Drive. Fortunately, there were no children on the bus. Today, a bill that could ban synthetic hemp products in the state is up for discussion in the legislative building. It would bar anyone under 21 from buying or possessing any hemp-derived consumable products. It also bans those products from school grounds as well. We'll have more news on Fox 50.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We had some loud thunderstorms overnight last night. Those have cleared out, and now that's going to make way for a hot afternoon. But the heat keeps building through the weekend. I'll show you how hot it will be.
A tree fell on a home. Powerful storms there overnight. And now this morning, we're talking about the cleanup that's happening in Orange County.
And a bus crash. A Wake County school bus and car collide. The traffic headache that it did cause at a Raleigh intersection. We will have that and so much more coming up for you on your Tuesday morning. Thanks so much for sticking with us here on Fox 50. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Chris Levingood. A little bit of rain, a little bit of hot weather. We have a lot on deck this week, and Elizabeth has been tracking that for the 2 next weather makers on the way. That's
right. We got a little of this, a little of that. Scattered storms. It's likely to be isolated for today and tomorrow, but I'm tracking a front that comes through Thursday. That's going to bring us a chance for some severe storms, already a level 2 risk. So we're going to walk through that. It's already a WRAL weather alert day. day. Heat's going to be equally a big deal for us, though. It's going to feel like triple digits today and really for almost every day going forward all the way through the weekend into early next week. Here's a look at what we saw last night. Those thunderstorms popping up, and you can see they are done. And we're seeing a little sunshine starting to break out across our area. This is a look at our tower right behind us. It's a 30 to 40% chance of thunderstorms later this afternoon. Most of us won't see those. Not going to see a whole lot of rain with those. Right now is another look around the area. This is RDU. A bit more cloud cover here, but there's a little patch of blue that's trying to break out. 77 is our temperature now with a dew point of 72. That just means it's really muggy out. 93, our high temperature for today, but it's likely to feel like around 102, likely to feel like 104 to 105 Wednesday and Thursday. So we get into major heat risk. I'll show you how many more days we could see that. Coming up, Ken.
Well, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL traffic center. I love incidents on a traffic map this morning, but a couple of them I want to bring your attention to, particularly this one at New Hope and Pool Road. You can see the huge delays it's causing there on Pool Road. That's part of your morning commute. Just know you'll be running into some delays. Possibly there's some alternate routes that you know more than I do that you might want to take this morning. On Capitol at 540, you're looking at an 11-minute delay. There are a couple of crashes, one on I-540 eastbound at Falls of News, the other one at I-540 near Triangletown Boulevard. So you're looking at an 11-minute delay if you start around Lewisburg Road and take you all the way to I-40. But once you get past Falls of News and that situation there, you will be clear sailing all the way to I-40 this morning. Here's a look at the Beltline. The southern loop of the Beltline. Those are the westbound lanes moving away from us, and both sides of the Beltline, including the northern loop here at 440 and New Bern Avenue. You can see traffic is moving along very slowly this morning, so give yourself some extra time if you're about to head out. In terms of times coming into the capital city, really nothing that's going to make you late, just a 5-minute delay coming in from Nightdale this morning. Over in Durham, very little to no delays whatsoever in terms of anything that's going to make you late. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Just within the past hour, a crash involving a Wake County school bus. It's cleared. No one was injured, and there were no children involved in this. The bus and a car collided there, and it shut down part of the intersection at Capitol Boulevard and Mayflower Drive for, again, about an hour. An employee with the school district told the WRAL Breaking News Tracker the crash caused damage to the battery of that school bus that you see here.
The storms that passed through this morning left damage in Orange County. Kelsey Coffey is in the WRAL Storm Tracker. Kelsey, a mobile home there badly damaged after a tree fell on top of it.
Yes, Michelle. So we'll take you to some video now to show you that tree that fell on a mobile home on Mary Catherine Lane and Chapel Hill. You can see that damage there. We were able to speak with the homeowner. They say that no one was inside at that time. So thankfully, everyone who lived in that home is okay. But we'll take you back live now to a scene here in Raleigh. So I'll step out the way so you can take a look at this. We were leaving that scene that was in Orange County and then just happened to stop by this. It looks like a vehicle caught fire here on southbound Capitol Boulevard. You can see that traffic is backed up here. We're working to find out more information as far as what happened, whether anyone was hurt in this. But just as far as your morning commute, this is definitely something that's going to be impacting you if you're driving anywhere near downtown. This is probably less than a mile away from the Peace Street exit here. So we'll keep you updated. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Duke Energy teams restored power to thousands of customers in Raleigh after an overnight power outage. You can see the sparks there from that transformer as teams were working to fix the outage. More than 2,000 homes in the Durley Road area lost power around 1:30-ish this morning. Teams were able to get that power restored after about 4 hours' time.
And today at noon, Durham police will announce the launch of a new civilian traffic investigator program. Chief Patrice Andrews will lead the news conference outside police headquarters on East Main Street. The goal is to free up officers by letting trained civilians handle minor traffic crashes. Israel and Iran are trading missile strikes on a 5th day of conflict. Here's what we know right now. At least 220 people have been killed in Iran and 24 people have been killed in Israel. President Trump left the G summit in Canada early to meet with national security about the conflict. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he believes Israel's strikes have significantly set back Iran's nuclear program. The conflict began after Israel launched a series of strikes that killed multiple Iranian military officials.
The man suspected of shooting 2 Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses is in jail this morning after making his first court appearance. Vance Belter will remain in custody until his next court hearing. That's on June 27th for multiple federal charges. At the state level, he's facing murder and attempted murder charges. Belter is accused of killing Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, a Raleigh native. He's also accused of wounding State Senator John Hoffman and his wife. The shootings over the weekend prompted a 43-hour-long manhunt.
At least 6 people are dead after flash flooding in West Virginia. A state of emergency has been issued for parts of the state after heavy rains resulted in flash flooding over the weekend. Look at these videos here. Dozens of homes were affected by the weather, including an estimated 29 homes that were destroyed. Several people are still missing. Emergency responders are working to do everything they can to locate the missing people as quickly as possible.
A new report highlights the need for change at Person County DSS after the death of a toddler while in foster care. The report released yesterday has been in the works for over a year, and it found Child Welfare Services was struggling with poorly maintained and organized paperwork, plus a high workload. And it praises the department for taking some steps to improve its operations. This report happened as the county and department are under intense scrutiny after the death of a 1-year-old, Kamari Morgan. That was while he was in foster care in May. Activists and family members have been pushing for answers and calling for Morgan's sister to be removed from the foster home and placed with family.
All I know is that my baby is no longer here, and the people who were supposed to protect him failed him.
The baby need to come home. She don't need to sit there and wonder, where's my little brother at?
Investigators are waiting on a toxicology report to determine Morgan's cause of death, and we are waiting to hear back from Person County DSS on the Morgan case.
8 vigils are happening tonight at 6, all at the same time across North Carolina. Protesters will gather outside Senator Thom Tillis and Ted Budd's offices, including here in Raleigh. They are set to criticize the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. They argue the bill cuts health care, fuels deportations, and threatens Medicaid expansion. Events are also planned in cities including Greenville, Charlotte, and Wilmington. And a final vote is expected today on a bill that would limit the power of state agencies under Governor Stein. GOP lawmakers say the so-called REINS Act would create more accountability by giving power to the legislature. They also say fewer regulations should help lower costs for businesses. Critics fear environmental protections, public health, and public safety could be at risk. Governor Stein is likely to veto it. Republicans would only need 1 Democrat to override that. And today, state lawmakers will vote on a proposal to ban some hemp products and prohibit the sale of certain THC drinks and gummies to anyone under the age of 21. A Senate committee wants to rewrite House Bill 328. The House passed the legislation earlier this session, prohibiting the use of Delta 8 and Delta 9 products on school grounds. The new proposal could set up a fight with the House.
Covering Wake County, today the man accused of shooting at police officers during a chase in Roseville will make his first court appearance. Gabriel Walker is facing charges including attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon on an officer, and firing into an occupied property. Video shows the moment police say Walker pulled up behind a pickup truck and then fired his gun 3 times. You can see that right here. It all started as a trespassing call but quickly escalated.
Plans to redevelop Durham's old police headquarters are now on hold. City Council voted last night to cut negotiations with developers of the old headquarters site. The People's Corporation has been handling that proposed development project. The cost has increased nearly $100 million from last summer to this spring. So City Council decided to pause that project.
Today, Raleigh leaders get an update on plans for the old DMV site on New Bern Avenue. The city actually bought it for $20 million and plans to tear it down next year. Neighbors call it an eyesore, though, and they hope improvements can bring new life to the area. Ideas so far include housing, a community space, and events for local residents.
Coming up, raw chicken risk will explain why the government backed off stricter safety rules. And 5 on your side's Keely Arthur shares what you can do to protect your family from salmonella.
And the heat is on, where you can go to cool off in Wake County as dangerous heat moves in.
8:43, we saw a round of overnight thunderstorms. You might have heard those. They were pretty loud right through the middle of the viewing area, but that's over. We may have some redevelopment this afternoon, but it won't be anything like we saw last night. Just a few isolated showers and thunderstorms right around the time of the evening commute through maybe 7 o'clock or so. Looking at some pretty sunshine beginning to break out, at least in parts of the viewing area. That sunshine is going to cause us to heat up really rapidly as we get through the day today. Right now, it's 73 in Wilson, 77 in Durham, and 79 in Fayetteville. Pretty cloudy in Wilson and Durham. Little sunshine trying to break out there in Fayetteville. Planning your workout this time of year, mostly inside. You certainly can't do it in the afternoon. It's going to feel like 100 to 102 this afternoon. Even midday or the evening hours are still going to feel hot, most likely low to mid 90s this morning. Not so bad, but it's still really sticky out there. So the pool may be a great place to go. We'll do some laps. Just a couple isolated storms late today and then some late day storms Thursday. Otherwise, you're definitely good to go at the pool. Our temperature is heading out the door in the low to mid 70s. We'll see a high of 93. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're on top of a situation there near downtown. This is a vehicle fire on Capitol Boulevard, southbound near P Street. Here's a live look at that scene with the help of photographer Mark Alexic. You can see it's beginning to affect commuters there along Capitol Boulevard. You can see that's the vehicle that was on fire just a little bit ago. First responders are still on the scene. We're working to get some more information about it, and I'll let you know in just a few minutes how this could continue to affect your morning commute coming into the capital city right there near downtown.
All the talk of the Lake Crabtree County Park closure. I wanted to give you a little better news for some outdoors folks in the eastern part of the county. Wake County commissioners have approved the design for Lake Mira County Park. You see it right here on this map with the lake right in the middle and an eastern section and a western section. That'll bring a lot more recreation opportunities to a growing region of the county right there. I'm going to show you a little bit of drone video of that area. It's a 218-acre park site bought by the county in 2007. They put a master plan together within a couple of years, but the economy just shut it all down until 2018 when a bond was approved by voters. So construction is estimated to cost $21 million, all paid for by that bond, and the park is scheduled to open in Wendell in 2027.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Changes are coming to Barwell Road. The city of Raleigh hosting a public meeting to share project updates and explain what to expect during construction on the Barwell Road improvement project. The meeting will take place tonight at 7 at the Barwell Road Community Center.
Salmonella is a leading cause of foodborne illness, and yet the Department of Agriculture backed off a proposed rule to strengthen safety standards for raw poultry. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur explains how you could prevent food poisoning in your kitchen.
Each year, more than 1.3 million Americans get sick from salmonella, and chicken and turkey are often to blame. Get this, one study found salmonella in nearly 1/3 of the ground chicken it tested. To address growing concerns, USDA recently proposed a rule aimed at making poultry safer, and it would have classified some salmonella-contaminated poultry as, quote, adulterated, which could have forced recalls and kept unsafe products off store shelves. But now the agency is backing down.
So unfortunately, what this means is the burden shifts to the consumer. The consumer is the one that has to figure out how best to protect their family from foodborne illness. And that's unfair when you consider everything that a consumer has to deal with on a daily basis.
Here's how we can prevent foodborne illness at home. At the market, keep raw meat in a disposable bag and separate it from ready-to-eat foods. At home, thaw meat in the refrigerator, not the counter. Wash your hands and utensils and use separate cutting boards from meat and produce. And most importantly, always cook chicken and turkey at 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
Gotta get a meat thermometer. Detective Frank Drebin Jr. is on the case for the Naked Gun reboot. And Sabrina Carpenter is on top of the charts yet again. Douglas Hyde has today's Hollywood Minute.
Over here, Lieutenant. I think someone murdered my brother.
Please, take a chair.
Thank you.
Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson bring the laughs in the first full trailer for The Naked Gun. The reboot of the 1988 comedy classic arrives in theaters in August and stars Neeson as Frank Drebin Jr. the son of the bumbling cop famously played by Leslie Nielsen in the original. Sabrina Carpenter just scored her second #1 hit with Man-Child. The new tune debuts at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart and is off her upcoming album Man's Best Friend. Mariah Carey also earned her landmark 50th hit on the chart with her new single, Type Dangerous. Glenn Close is joining the cast of The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. She'll play Drusilla Sickle, the cruel escort to the District 12 tributes. Billy Porter has also signed on as her estranged husband, Magno Stift. The film takes place more than 2 decades before the original Hunger Games and will hit theaters November of next year. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
Oh, that's going to be good. I love that. All right, with warmer weather here, we are not the only ones welcoming the change. Mosquitoes thrive as temperatures rise, and you may notice they are ramping up. Dr. Christopher Bizzoli says there are plenty of steps you can take to protect yourself. Putting on bug repellent is a good place to start, and if you're wearing sunscreen, apply before the bug spray. Avoid fragrances and covering any exposed skin with loose-fitting clothes. That can help as well. You can also deter mosquitoes by turning on a fan and taking care of any standing water around the house. If you do get bitten, Dr. Bizzoli says be sure to clean the area and watch for signs that it could be turning into more than just an itchy annoyance.
And then it's important to monitor yourself after any bug bite. And things that we're looking out for and reasons that we should reach out to your primary care doctor or seek medical care is aches and pains. This can be belly pains or headaches, fevers and chills, feeling like you're coming down with a cold, a systemic illness, and then rashes, especially that crop up in other areas of the body away from the bite site.
If you don't have any concerning symptoms and it's a minor mosquito bite, Dr. Bizzoli says icing the area early on and using anti-itch cream can help as it heals.
Just a heads up, Wake County is opening cooling stations today as dangerous heat moves in, and they'll stay open through Wednesday, but will close Thursday for Juneteenth. You can stop by any Wake County Public Library, Regional Center, and Health and Human Service centers that are being used as cooling stations. You know, we're talking about standing water. That's something you probably have seen overnight after the storms we saw, but you also have this heat that's on the way. Not one, but 2 weather makers that you're tracking there, Elizabeth.
That's right. First of all, we're going to see just isolated thunderstorms the next couple of days, and then Thursday is a WRAL weather alert day with a stronger front. And then the heat is definitely a big story. We had some storms overnight last night. Those have ended, and our potential for thunderstorms this afternoon is much less, and that means heat will be a bigger issue for us today. At lunchtime, still a little bit of cloud cover lingering, but we're beginning to see some sunshine popping out there, and we'll see more of that as we get closer to lunchtime. A couple of isolated cells may pop up today, but our coverage looks pretty minimal, especially compared to the kind of rain that we saw last night and the last couple of days. Let's jump on out and talk a little bit more about what we're seeing. A lot of cloud cover, at least in Durham, but some sunshine in other places. 77 the temperature, our dew point 72, so it's a very warm and sticky air mass. We tend to get very hot, humid conditions when we see a high pressure system that sits just offshore sliding closer to us. High pressure systems have sinking air. That sinking air compresses and that heats up. It keeps us from having as many storms and then really ramps up the heat for us. And so that's the pattern that we're now moving into. 93 in Raleigh, 92 in Durham, and 94 this afternoon in Fayetteville, and it doesn't stop there. Over the weekend, highs will be in the mid to upper 90s, and then upper 90s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're putting it 99 on Monday and Tuesday, but that's awfully close to 100. We only average one 100-degree day every year. The average first 100-degree day isn't until July 13th, the earliest June 7th, and the latest October 3rd. But, we have 2 days at least next week that are going to be close to triple digits. Triple-digit heat index today, 102, feeling more like 104 on Wednesday and Thursday, and 105 to 106 would put us under a heat advisory potentially from the Weather Service. Of course, we do have that weather alert day on Thursday with that front coming through. We can expect to see some stronger thunderstorms late in the day.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Before we go to break, here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers. We will get another check on weather and traffic next.